Hello! Thank you for choosing IPC Services for your permitting and drafting needs. This video will help you better understand our pre-construction services and what to expect from our time together. We'll give you a few side note pointers along the way that will help you get ready for construction. Please feel free to reference this video at any time, and if you have any questions that aren't covered in this video, please feel free to contact our office at 352-732-8566. We're always happy to help. We'll begin with an initial meeting here in our office or over the phone to discuss the project. During this meeting, an IPC Services representative will go over important details for your project. Are you looking for plans for a new home, an addition or alteration to your existing residence? Have you received a code citation for a change to your property? Will you need permitting assistance? Aside from construction details, we'll also ask for your contact information, including your full name, phone number, and email address, as well as the site address and billing address. After your project details are understood, your IPC representative will compose a written services agreement and send it to you for your consideration. Every services agreement we write is specifically tailored for each client and will include a budget for the work we'll perform for you. Some of our services are billed at an hourly rate, some are fixed costs, and some are based on a per square foot basis. Many budgets are a mix of all three. The fee schedule for each of our services is outlined in your service agreement. While we do our very best to establish an accurate budget for each project, you should expect your invoices to be different from the budget, because they're billed based on the actual time spent completing the work and the under-roof square footage of the final design. As a result, some projects finish under budget and some exceed their budget. Rest assured, our teams will always work diligently to complete your project under budget and communicate with you throughout the process. When you are ready to hire us, kindly return a signed copy of the services agreement and a form of payment for the initiation deposit. Initiation deposits are non-refundable and perform two purposes. First, they reimburse our staff for the time and energy spent on your project up to this point. Phone calls, emails, office meetings, property research, and other tasks we've completed in order to establish the scope of work we need to complete and calculate an accurate estimated budget for the project. Secondly, the deposit secures your position in our project queue. The project queue is a list of previously sold projects that have not yet been started by our staff. As jobs are sold, each project is placed in the project queue in the order in which they were sold. Staff will be assigned project folders in that same order as they become available to start new jobs. Please feel free to ask your representative what the current estimated queue times are running. Their answer will always be based on when they expect your project to be assigned to staff and begun, and not when the work will be completed. On occasion, we can offer a fast pass to customers in our project queue that will shorten the expected wait time to begin their project. However, this option is not always available, so please feel free to ask your representative about a fast pass when you sign your services agreement. If it is available, additional charges will apply. Once your project has arrived at the front of the project queue, your assigned drafter will reach out to you and introduce themselves. They will also review the project notes with you again, and if a field measure is needed, coordinate that appointment. IPC Services operates under a pay-as-you-go system and only creates invoices for work that has been completed. Invoices will be sent to you via email, or you can pick them up in person at our office. Our staff are not authorized to proceed with subsequent work if there are any open invoices for previous work. If your project involves an existing structure, it is an excellent idea to provide your drafter with a copy of any original construction plans if you have them. No original plans? No problem. Our drafters are equipped with state-of-the-art tools to measure existing structures and create as-built plans from a field measure. When performing a field measure, your drafter will utilize a 3D reality capture camera to create scans of the existing structure in combination with measuring the building with tapes and other digital equipment. It is company policy that you are present while this service is performed. Now that your drafter has gotten more details about the project and copies of original plans or a field measure of any existing structures, they can move on to the preliminary plan phase. Our drafters will utilize computer software to create a conceptual layout that we refer to as preliminary plan. The preliminary plan will include a floor plan, front elevation, roof plan, square footage calculations, room labels, and dimensions. This is a great time to make any stylistic changes before the drawings move on to the more complicated phases. You'll want to review these plans thoroughly and let your drafter know of any changes you want to make during this phase. While we're happy to explore as many design options as you'd like us to draw, it's important to be mindful that this portion of the work is billed at an hourly rate. Exploring too many options can blow your preliminary plan budget. At the same time, it's far less costly to make changes now than it is to the project after it's built. IPC will invoice you at the completion of the preliminary plan and each draft as they are completed. We'll continue to modify the drawings as you wish until you are 100% satisfied and ready to move on to working drawings. Once you approve the preliminary plans, your drafter will begin the creation of the working drawings. Working drawings are the more complicated half of construction plans. These include a foundation plan, a dimension floor plan, engineering notes, an electrical plan, all exterior elevations, and any necessary details and notes the engineer will require for the structure to be deemed compliant with the current Florida building code. Working drawings consume more time to develop and therefore are more costly to revise. Another reason why it's more important to make design changes during the preliminary plan phase. Side note, although not required by the Florida Building Code, a geological subsurface soil evaluation performed by a licensed geotechnical engineering firm is a prudent investment for many property owners. Many parts of Florida have subsurface soils that are classified as karst topography, and as such, your site may contain an array of subsurface soils that are not ideal for building upon. Should a geotechnical evaluation discover adverse conditions at your building site, it does not mean you can't build there. It does mean, however, that special precautions should be considered to ensure a structurally sound design. To learn more, talk with your IPC Services rep about the option of getting geological soil testing done at your property. The next step is for your drafter to create a site plan for your project. Site plans illustrate where the proposed building will be constructed in relation to the property lines and any existing structures on your property. They will also show building setbacks, as required by the local zoning regulations, drainage and utility easements, flood zone information, driveways, wells, and septic drain fields, or water and sewer connection locations, and more. The best tool your drafter can utilize to create an accurate site plan is a current property survey. If you don't have a current survey, it is recommended that you hire a professional land surveyor to measure and create an up-to-date survey. If the project is to be financed by a lender, there's a good chance they will require a current survey as well. In the event your proposed construction is to be erected in or near a flood zone or flood-prone area, we will also need your surveyor to establish the minimum finish floor elevation above sea level for the proposed project, as well as detail the existing grade elevation where the project will be built. Lastly, if the project is to be built near a body of water, your surveyor also needs to identify where the ordinary high water line is, as well as if the property is within an environmentally sensitive overlay zone. As stormwater management is critical to the success of a property and neighborhood, your drafter will also evaluate the existing and proposed impervious area coverages during site plan development. In the event too much of your property is being covered and at risk for flood problems, you may be required by the local authorities to hire a licensed civil engineer to design a stormwater management plan. Your drafter or representative will discuss this with you if it is discovered to be an issue. At this point, the working drawings are adequate for cost estimating, and you will be invoiced for their completion as outlined in your services agreement budget. Once the invoice has been paid, IPC will then give you a set of the working drawings for your review. Or if you prefer, we're happy to schedule an appointment here in our office to review the working drawings with you in person. As this plan will be used to construct your project, it is important to review them thoroughly. IPC will make any edits to the plans that you deem appropriate. Once you or your builder have completed the cost estimating process and you're satisfied with the construction budget, the next step is to finalize the plans for permitting and construction. Side note, as the design has been finalized, it is a good time to order the manual D&J and energy calculations that will be needed for permitting. In many cases, you or your builder's air conditioning contractor will provide these. If not, you'll need to hire an independent energy designer to prepare them. If you don't have one, ask your IPC representative for a referral. Side note, if your project includes the installation of a septic tank and drain field, it's a good time to order a percolation test of the soils where the drain field will be installed. Percolation test results are needed by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection before they will issue a septic permit. While many local DEP offices can do this, it is sometimes faster to have an independent specialist perform this test and provide you with a report to use for permitting. Lastly, make sure to ask your IPC permitting agent if your property will fall within the criteria that requires an enhanced nitrogen-reducing septic system or not. Your drafter will need to acquire roof truss design information from the company you intend to buy roof trusses from. If you don't have a preference, your drafter will be happy to recommend a roof truss company to work with. The information your drafter requires from the truss company will allow them to marry the roof truss solution to the working drawings. As this information can vary from truss company to truss company, it is very important to stick with the same company throughout construction. Utilizing a different truss company to provide roof trusses for your building other than what we accounted for could result in a serious structural failure. Once the drafter has implemented the truss design information into your working drawings, we will send the plan to an independent structural engineer. IPC Services works regularly with several great engineering firms, but if you have one you prefer to work with, we'll be happy to send the plans to them for their review. It is important to note that structural engineering review and certification costs are not included in your services agreement, and as such, not paid by IPC Services. You will hire the engineering firm and pay them directly for their services. After receiving payment, your engineer will review the plan set and notify your drafter of any necessary edits that are needed before they can certify the plans. Edits requested by the engineer are included in your services agreement under Design Engineering Collaboration. Make sure to tell your drafter whether you prefer the engineer to provide us with digitally certified electronic plans or old-fashioned physical sets with embossed seals. It's important to know which format your building department will accept. Over the years, digitally certified plans have become more prevalent, but there are still a few more rural authorities that don't accept them. However, digital plans tend to be processed quicker, though. After the engineer has reviewed the plans thoroughly and sees no further necessary changes, they will certify the plans and send them back to our office. We'll then send them on to you. Now that you have certified plans from your engineer, you're ready to move on to permitting. If you're hiring a licensed building contractor to construct your new project, they'll probably handle the permitting through their office. But if you are acting as an owner builder or are a busy contractor who needs some assistance, we're here to help. As the plans are only a small part of the building permit application submittal package, it can be a daunting and time-consuming task to navigate the challenges of preparing the permitting application for your project. For a flat fee, our permitting agent will work with you to act as your representative to fill out the application and collect all the other items needed to apply for a construction permit. Please note, IPC's Permitting Assistance Service fee does not include any building or health department application costs, impact fees, court recording fees, nor any costs charged for the other items that are needed to make application. As each project is unique, each permit application is unique as well. Our permitting agent will work with you to identify and establish everything that is needed for your permit. Please plan to review and discuss the project and permit with them in detail as they begin the permitting preparation process. Once our permitting agent has collected all the documentation they need for the application, they will submit the package to the appropriate building authority and report to you when this is done. Most permits must make their way through numerous department reviews, and the time it takes to complete this process varies from permit to permit. Our agent will continue to monitor and communicate with the authority often. It is not uncommon for each department to return comments or inquiries for additional information that our agent will process for you. And that's everything. Once your permit is issued and you have all of the approved documents from your local building authority, you are ready to start construction. In addition to pre-construction services, we also offer a few services that can help during your building process. Our 3D interactive reality capture tours utilize sophisticated imagery technology to recreate an extremely accurate record of the project. Having a tour created means that you'll always be able to see exactly where pipes, wires, and framing are behind the drywall after it's installed. But this service must be done before the drywall is hung. Ask your IPC Services rep about 3D tour creation to learn more. If you are a building contractor or real estate developer and would like to partner with IPC Services for a continued relationship, please reach out to our office to set up an account and learn more about how we can help your company and your clients. Over the years, we're proud to have helped builders and developers create a product line of model homes and marketing materials to promote their brand. We're also happy to have worked with numerous independent licensed design professionals to provide drafting support services when they need some help on a single project or many. Thank you for taking the time to watch this instructional video, and we hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions regarding the topics we've discussed, or would like to schedule an appointment here in our office to begin your project, please don't hesitate to give us a call or drop us an email. We are eager to serve you.